going to call the meeting, 9 a.m., Tuesday, June 11th, 2024, meeting of the Wareham Affordable Housing Trust to order. I'll start with a roll call. To my left, Ms. Slavin.
Sandy Slavin.
To my right, Mr.
Jim
Manise. Carl Schultz, chair here. And I note that Judith Whiteside is joining us by Zoom, and we'll speak to her role in a minute. So we do have a quorum, and I believe that we can begin business. First item of business would be the minutes of May 14th, which Jim sent out this morning. Judith, I forwarded you a copy of the minutes. You should see them in your email.
Yes, thank you.
So.
Did you receive them, Sandy?
I did, but I just got the corrected one, so give me a second. I need a chance to read it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any discussion, Judith? Do you have any questions on the minutes?
No, thank you.
I looked at them.
Go ahead.
I didn't see any discussion of Ms. Nichols' role. I thought we.
It was very brief.
But we voted on it.
Yes, we did. We voted 3-0-0 to ask the select board to remove her, and we voted 3-0-0 to request the select board to assign a member. So there was 2 votes taken for it, so it should be included in the minutes.
Okay, I did mention at the end of the minutes, both those things, but no votes.
Okay.
I thought the discussion had left that we'd wait till June meeting for Ms. Nichols. Sorry, my mistake. And you were gonna send a letter to, or contact the select board and Ms. Nichols.
I did both.
Right.
I didn't.
So
I don't know that
that's what I
copied-
put down.
Yeah, I don't know that I copied you both. I think I did. Yes. So I did reach out to both Ms. Nichols, and I did reach out to the select board. Hence, I think one of the reasons that Judith is here, which again I said we'll speak to formally in a minute. So I think we should probably amend the minutes with those.
I'm working on that.
Then I make a motion to accept the
As amended?
5:14 minutes as amended to reflect votes taken for
Trust membership. if you want.
yeah. Yes, trust membership.
Okay, I have a motion. I'll second because Jim was the author. All in favor?
Aye.
Jim Manise, aye.
And aye. Judith, I don't, we'll talk.
I'm going to abstain.
Okay, thanks, yeah.
And could somebody move the chair that is in front of, I think it's in front of you, Carl. I can't see you. I can see Jim and I can see Sandy.
Oh.
And I can
That's
see
not
Mr.
bad.
Motion.
It was strategically placed.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I put it there for, no.
Yeah, you did. Thank you.
To accept as amended. Okay, so the first item, moving on to new business, is to review trust membership for the coming year. We have a couple of items under here. First, let's discuss the 2 action items. At the last meeting, I did reach out to Ms. Nichols. And in fact, she had sent me an email saying she was actively working on trying to improve her communications. I discussed with her by email. I was somewhat surprised that she hadn't attended, and said, I notified her that we had voted to take action, but I said if she wanted to come before us at this meeting and offer her input, I have a place on the agenda for that. I did not hear back from her, and I do not see her this morning. So I believe that Chair Whiteside, in your role as select person, I think we want to move forward with our recommendation. She didn't resign, she didn't respond, she's not here. She only attended 1 or 2 meetings in the past year. So I think as as a trust, we're asking the select board, as the appointing authority, to move to replace her.
We're not the appointing authority, we're the recommending authority.
No, I said, I'm asking the select board as the.
Oh, I thought you said you, us, never mind.
No, I meant, I was referring to them as the appointing authority, but yes. We as
So Mr. Chair, I would ask that you do the following, that subsequent to today's meeting, that you put in on a memo to me, and he has been keeping the select board up to date as an ongoing information about Ms. Nichols' attendance. So if you would, after today's meeting, say that today at your meeting that you formally requested to ask the selectmen to replace her, so that we have that vote on record, and then we will go forward. As you probably know, it's not a pleasant experience, but you need your membership, so.
So we're voting again for what we already voted on May 14th?
You're gonna confirm what you wanted to do, because Mr. Schultz gave her the opportunity to come today. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, I did.
So what about I just make a motion to affirm the vote of, what was the date, Sandy?
5/14.
Of May 14th, 2024, to recommend to the board, the select board, to remove Samantha Nichols from the Wareham Affordable Housing Trust for lack of attendance.
I will second that.
Having a motion and a second, motion from Mr. Manise, a second from Ms. Slavin, looking for a vote, looking to Ms. Slavin.
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Manise, and the chair votes aye, so that, and
I will abstain.
yes, so the motion passes, and the chair will send a formal memo to the select board noting the vote and the affirmation and requesting action.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, I believe, Judith, the select board has acted to appoint you to become the representative.
That's correct. They did that last week.
Member,
Yeah.
not representative, member.
Member, yeah, you're not a liaison, you're, as you've done before, you were early on, maybe a year ago, that acting in that role.
Right, so now, yes, the select board took that action last week.
Okay, so,
Have you been sworn in?
No,
It's all right.
okay,
So theoretically, the vote should not be counted until she's sworn in.
well,
all right.
it's an appointment from the select board.
It's all right.
Well,
I mean, I can do it, that's fine with me.
I
I'm
will,
sorry, but will you appoint us and we have to be sworn in?
So,
Yeah, but
what I'm gonna, excuse me if I might, what I'll do is I'm just gonna put in the minutes, select board voted to appoint Judith Whiteside to be the select board representative to the Wareham Affordable Housing Trust. Boom. Is that good by everybody?
Member, not representative, member.
Member, okay.
Yeah, yes. And do we need to discuss further on, does she have to get sworn in?
That's her, that's her call, we can't make that.
Every board.
I mean, every member of every
Okay.
board must be sworn in, so,
yeah, I'll get it done today.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, that seems like a minor.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
A minor action.
Yep.
Thank you, okay, continuing forward, still on this topic. I think both Ms. Slavin and Mr. Manise, your terms expire at the end of June. Sandy, I did get a note from you saying that you couldn't find the application, but I did see that you copied Ms. Wolford on your request. So I would need a motion and a second to recommend from the trust that,
And I'm going to ask whether or not your agenda allows for this vote.
why, isn't that trust membership update?
That doesn't say anything about voting.
I don't know if it has to.
I'm going to, hey,
I tried, you're right, it doesn't say possible vote. All right,
when we can take the vote and reaffirm the vote at the next meeting, but I'm really getting tired of our agendas not covering what we plan to do. And it isn't just you, Carl, I have it constantly with sewer, and, I get very sticky at it.
Noted, I will endeavor to improve.
Well, we only do this once a year, so,
Well, no, but I meant in terms of being very detailed in my minutes, or excuse me, in my agendas.
yeah,
May I make a suggestion that will help keep the select board agenda? Our next meeting is the 18th. So if you could forward those two recommendations, I know we have one of them on, I think it's Sandy's, I don't think it's Jim's, or maybe it is the other way around, I just don't remember. But we noted that both of those would have to be reappointed.
Right.
And absent that, it wouldn't be until July, 6th or something like that, that we would be able to act on it.
Okay, so that
So
was,
it's up to you, Mr. Chair.
I will note, Ms. Slavin's concern about the lack of clarity about the vote. I would like to request that we take a vote so that I can send the letters, and then I request that we reaffirm that, at the next meeting.
I'm fine with that, voting now and a
Reaffirm.
Reaffirmation,
yeah, one of those.
okay, great. So,
But, sorry, one point, is that not only does there have to be a letter from you, Carl, saying we have voted to recommend, both Jim and I need to tell the select board that we want to be considered for
Correct,
reappointment, and I
yes.
think I've done that.
you, I believe that,
Yes,
that I
okay.
saw that, although I did note you couldn't find the official paperwork, but you did send,
I went looking for that website that said to go online and do it that way, and I couldn't find it under clerk or selectman, and I gave up, and I wrote an email.
okay.
Yeah, the email is fine.
So Jim, if you could just either reapply or send a note that you wanna get, okay,
I was
so,
waiting till the meeting.
okay, great. So you do still wanna continue, right?
Yeah, I'd like to continue as a board member here.
Great, so let's take a vote.
I make a motion that we, vote to recommend Jim Muniz to continue as a member of Affordable Housing Trust.
I second. All in favor?
Aye. Sandy, we're,
Yeah, because of the Zoom, we have to say your name.
I'll abstain, okay.
You can vote, but
All right,
okay.
I'll vote yes.
And Mr. Manise votes yes, and the chair votes yes. So we have a 3-0, and Judith, are you gonna vote or abstain?
No, I'm gonna, because we'll go with the technicality of the, swearing in.
Okay,
And I'd like to make a motion to reappoint Sandra Slavin to the Wareham Affordable Housing Trust.
and I will second that. All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so we have 3-0-1, and the chair will send 2 letters, or I'll send letters of recommendation to the select board, noting that request.
Can you copy Karen on that one, Mr. Chair?
Karen, yes, I will.
Thank you.
SB and Karen. Recommending. Okay, that takes care of that. I don't think we have anything else on the trustee.
Mr. Chair, is there a chance we can take Chapel Lane now, out of order?
Wasn't
So-
on there, was it?
Yes, it is.
Unless you wanna sit through the whole thing? You sit through the whole thing, okay,
Absolutely.
all right.
So, under 2024 annual report, we are required to prepare an annual report each year. I think it's due July, the end of July, but we should begin preparing it now. So I wanted to get us started on that process. Sandy normally has input to that, not for today, you get a report from Mr. Foster, I think, on the state of our finances. You just send him a request, it's Mr. Foster, right?
No, county.
Oh, county, okay.
mean, but we won't know our total balance in our account until they close the books in August or September, so what you can do is, as of certain date, this is our balance.
Yes, we normally include that in our annual report, so if you could just get that. So, Jim, would you be willing to prepare the annual report?
I'll work on it,
Yeah, well,
and then I'll forward it, or, provide it to the board
for our July
next-
meeting,
next month, and,
we can finalize it, and then it would be done in time for, our commitment to the select
I
board.
had already put you down as doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
The chair,
No, but I'll
the
just
chair-
change it.
the chair normally does it.
okay, you want me
I'll
to,
work on it.
Yeah, I would prefer, yeah,
All
the
right.
chair does it. Yeah.
just one more thing.
Sorry, Carl.
Yes,
Okay, so if you guys would send me, any input you'd like to see, I will, and Jim, if you wanna send me your thoughts, I would appreciate it. But I have a template from last year, so,
And report, blah, blah, blah,
okay, so we should begin on that.
and now,
So Sandy, if you could get whatever, as of, yeah, not today.
it's on my list to ask you for latest update.
Okay, and then any thoughts you have on the content, on our accomplishments are
Yeah.
welcome.
We should include the, two CPA grants we have outstanding, including the one we just got for the $150,000. You're definitely gonna talk about how we're using the $60,000 grant from 10 years ago, or how long ago it was.
Yep. I
What
have-
other financial commitments did we do this year? I think that was just the
Other
one,
other than the one for Sixth Chapel.
that's right.
Yeah.
Well, no, we didn't do an article for Sixth Chapel.
No, not CPC.
No, I'm talking about-
CPC only, okay.
CPC for Affordable Housing Trust, then I'm trying to think, what articles did we submit to the town? One for the $150,000.
That's it.
I don't think there was another article.
No, there wasn't. We had, I was gonna discuss under 2025 planning, do we want to submit another article?
Well,
so,
we'll talk about that, but not until we start, I can't believe we've hung on to them for how many years?
Yep,
They're not gonna give us more money until we can prove we use it.
okay.
But that's my opinion, and we'll talk about it under that topic.
all right, so how we doing, Charles? We moving on to 2025?
Okay, so we got an action plan for the annual report. And, we can move on to 2025 planning. Any more discussion on 2024 annual report? Ms. Whiteside, any input or comment?
No, thank you, yeah, using your template from last year, and I know that you have concerns about maybe your balance isn't perfect, but I think if you cover it in your, what you say, I think you're all set on that.
Yep.
Thank you. And that goes directly to Marie Garrity and myself.
Yes, I will, we'll take a vote on it in the July meeting and
Yeah.
I'll get it out.
Okay, thank you.
So I will have a draft for the July meeting. So moving on to 2025 planning. We will need to elect a new chair, or whatever action, clerk and those things. We don't have to do-
Officers.
Officers, yes. We can do that in our July meeting, so we should think about how we wanna do that. We should probably update our notice of funding availability and republish that. So I'll take a look at, everybody should have a copy of the NOFA from last year. We should probably re-update that.
Do you just publish it, or do you send it to some of the groups and organizations within the town, you know, outside of, you know, within the town government and outside of town government that
Right.
work trying to assist people in these things. Do you send direct notices to them also?
Last year was, I think, the first year we finally, we got that
I
process in
think we
place.
just put them on
All
the
we did,
website.
all we did last year was post
Put
it
them on the website, cause I don't, who in town do we send it to?
What, Turning Point?
No,
Where you-
for town of Wareham employees.
well-
You talked about,
Agencies,
okay,
agencies, so I was thinking, CDBG,
well, we can talk about that next,
well, just, that's the main agency, also, you know, Planning Community Development, which CDBG runs sort of under, is overseen by.
You could also put it on the town website under announcements.
No, under announcements, we do post it on the website, but you're right, under announcements, we could do it. Last year, we debated sending it to Wareham Week, I think, unfortunately, I think they charge like $500 for doing that.
Yeah.
So we didn't do it last year. We do have the funds, we could theoretically invest the $500 and send it to Wareham Week. We can discuss that at the next meeting.
You could also ask Wareham WCTV to add that to one of their, you know, Liam does the weekly 3-minute update from Wareham Week, but it's on WCTV. And that actually gets on the front page of Wareham Week.
Oh, okay, good. That's a great idea.
So it's kind of a clever way around having to spend the 500.
Okay. Also, and then Noah, can I ask you to just weigh in they do interviews on topics more in depth. Nobody's interviewed the trust, so perhaps we could get, I know that I was interviewed a couple of times as a member of the planning board, so perhaps we could get interviewed. What does the trust do? Who would I,
John Day.
John, it's just John? Okay, I'd send everything
Yeah.
to John, so.
John Day is our go-to person.
When it comes to government, yeah, if you wanna message John,
I'll take care of that.
just let him know.
Great, thank you. All right, so we could finalize that next week. So I will prepare an updated draft of the NOFA for next month.
I apologize.
That's okay. The only thing that you missed is I will have an updated draft of the notice of funding availability for next month, and we discussed ideas for how to distribute it more broadly, perhaps using WCTV, so we'll continue to explore that.
Okay.
Any other prep work for getting ready for 2025? Okay, moving on to open items. Regarding Woodland Cove, we are blocked at Woodland Cove. We have been blocked for 6 months, and it hasn't really I wanna pare down my frustration a little bit, because they don't have a certificate of occupancy yet, so we haven't really harmed anyone.
Well, yeah, these people thought they were moving into these new apartments, so I'm sure they gave notices to where they were before, so that's a big harm, nothing to do with us, but that's a big hit.
Excuse me, my point being harmed in terms of our ability to award the rental assistance.
Okay, but to me, this is a big issue for those people who gave notices.
All right, but, Judith, we are waiting for Derek to sign an agreement. And I've met with him multiple times, and he just hasn't gotten to it. It's been reviewed by town council and approved as to form. Basically, the agreement would be with Wingate Partners, who's the management firm, to have them administer handing out the awards to individual renters, and then reporting back to us. And the agreement certifies the conditions and all of those things. I invited Derek to attend today. I didn't hear back from him and he's not here. But that is currently
Yeah.
the blocking
And
action.
Judy, Wingate Management, which is one we're gonna be dealing with, is the same group that's managing 801 Main Street. That gives you a hint that they've been involved in the town and does a great job for that particular development.
So, let me back up, Carl, you said, that the agreement has already been reviewed by Derek and approved as to form by Rich, I know that, so it's now back in Derek's hands?
Yeah, Derek, I think it's uncertain given the relationship of the trust to the town, but we're following the process. Derek, as the town administrator, we're just looking for him to sign the agreement. He is not,
Okay. So he's going on vacation, so, Thursday, he's gonna be gone for a couple of weeks. So if there's a time crunch, you might want to send the agreement to Patty Neal.
Patty has it. It has a number, it's in the contract system.
Okay.
I followed all of those rules. It's got, it's in the contract system, it's got a number.
Okay. Then just nudge her and nudge him gently.
I will, yeah.
Thank you. Unless you wanna wait the 2 weeks, Carl, but it's up to you.
I will do. And I'm not speaking to you as a select person right now.
I
so-
understand.
Not asking you to do anything as a select.
I understand.
But anyway, the only point I started off is they're still struggling to get certificate of occupancy. So we wouldn't have been able to award any funds yet anyway. But, and interestingly enough, I continue to copy members of Dakota Partners, but I haven't heard from them in a while. They're probably struggling with the whole.
Drop them. It's not, Dakota Partners has nothing to do for this point, it's Wingate only.
The only contact I have is Dakota Partners. I don't have a contact at Wingate.
We don't?
You mean related to the,
Management agreement.
right, that's Wingate only.
But it all
The
has,
occupancy permits is the developer.
I understand, but the
Right.
only contact we've ever had is Dakota Partners.
Well, I thought there were Wingate representatives here before.
I don't
So-
believe so.
So,
Oh,
we're on Woodland Cove right now?
yes,
Okay, and the certificate of occupancies. I believe that's in front of ZBA tomorrow. They've been going through some of the issues that were brought up by the building commissioner, straightening them out, the drainage issues and other approvals stamped by their engineering firm. So hopefully that'll be coming along sooner than not. Quite a few of the items are on the agenda for that.
all right. So I will, in the interim, in addition to following up with Derek, try and find a contact at Wingate. And perhaps in our past history, certainly we have somebody on the contract from Wingate, because they signed it. It's also been, just so you know, Wingate signed it. We requested a signed copy before we would sign it, and we have a signed copy from them. So,
So we have something signed by Michael Cosgrove, RVP, representing Wingate Management Company.
Yeah,
What you probably don't have is an email.
right, he's certainly never been here, so I will.
No, but he's the one that signed the contract.
Right. I will go back and see if anyone from Wingate has ever showed up. Or I will send a note to Penn or the young lady from Dakota and say, can you give me a contact at Wingate? If you're not gonna come,
Because we have a W-9 for Wingate Management, but honestly, I cannot read who signed it.
Right.
The
Again, no
controller did.
email. Huh?
All I can read is after the signature controller.
Yeah,
He signed it in 2018,
well, the W-9 was signed in 19, this was not 2018, which is not specific to us, but there is a
Yeah.
W-9 we can use. We will use when we submit the payment.
Okay, I will follow up on that as well.
I bet you, I bet you could Google Wingate, Wingate,
I'll pursue that.
Yeah.
Another two.
Moving on or no?
Any other discussion or questions on Woodland Cove? Not much going on there. It's very frustrating trying to give away money and we can't give away money. Although Mr. Boschman is very pleased for us to give money to him. But, all right, moving on to 6 Chapel Lane. The only remaining question is, and Lynn did send me an email, we mentioned the need, we have a formal statement of the award, which we've notified 6 Chapel Lane that you guys could use with your lenders. And we, in there, referenced the form of agreement. We have a draft of a form of agreement that Sandy dug up from Latham, right?
Yes,
That we can, we should, I think it almost meets the requirements. I don't, is there any?
it's just our internal form, yeah, I mean, the form that you have there came from Bowen for a project we did with CPC, so we modified it for Latham,
Right.
so it'd just be tweaking it.
So I would look for a motion from the trust for me to reach out to Attorney Bowen. As I understand, it's a process, we need to vote for authorization, and I will send a request to him to modify that agreement to work with legal partners.
We modify it ourselves, why have Mr. Bowen do it? I
He's good.
misunderstood you.
Oh, you don't think we need to get him to modify it?
Oh, yes, I do.
Well,
Yes, I do.
but, yeah.
It's a legal document, you wanna make sure that all of the i's and t's and w's and exclamation points are in the right place, honestly. Carl, you know that from sitting on the planning board, that kind of documentation is extremely important, sorry.
But that, I believe that would be after we indicate who the recipient is, their addresses and everything else, and the content of it, and then send it for review and
Yeah.
approval, right? Okay, thank you.
Yes, yeah, oh, yeah, we're not, and of
Right.
course, we need to send a copy to Lynn, Steve and Lynn. So, do you have a Word copy of that, Sandy, or?
I probably have someplace along the way.
If not, I can convert it, but do you wanna take a whack at editing it?
Yeah, I won't call it Community Preservation Act Grant Agreement, I'll call it something else,
Yes.
because we did that from CPC, okay.
Okay, so. we'll
So
go-
Carl, when you need to see you're gonna sit with Mr. Bowman, just send me an email saying, that the board voted to allow you to go see him, blah, 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 the routine.
I'll do that,
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so Sandy, we'll have a draft, we'll get the draft, we'll get you a copy of the draft, we'll get a copy of Mr. Bowen, your attorney will have to look at it. Yeah, when I say you,
CC me
yeah,
on her side.
I mean your team.
Please.
Okay, so we'll get a draft of that. And we'll get that forward, and I'll send a copy to Derek as well. Judith said she may need to drop off, she's got workmen in the house.
So we have a Community Preservation Act Agreement already to go for, 6 Chapel Lane. I'll just change the title.
Perfect, if you peruse it and you think it's good, then we'll move forward with that. And then,
Thank you.
I mean, this is just paperwork.
Sure.
How do you guys, do you wanna give us an update on where you're at?
Yeah, actually, we're supposed to close the first part of this week here, the week of the 10th. Steve Peck just got back from vacation, so I'm waiting for a phone call to him. There's 2 phases of closing with the bank, he said to me, and the second phase, the final phase would be 30 to 40 days afterwards. So hopefully we're breaking ground in September, I'd love to break, sooner the better.
Good.
We're on the forward motion.
Any questions regarding 6 Chapel Lane?
6 Chaplain, no, I'm good, but I'd like to make a statement on 15 Gibbs Ave.
Oh, that's the next agenda item.
Okay.
Broadly written,
All right,
so,
beautiful, that's fine.
Well,
so, any more discussion on pending grants? Moving on to possible future grants. And in this category, just to bring Judith up to speed, would be a phase 2 grant for Woodland Cove, which has been discussed. 20 Depot Street, which has been discussed. 15 Gibbs Avenue, which Mr. Boschman says he'd like to give us an update on. As you know, we've recently gotten re-engaged from 4 West, and Angela's requested to be on the agenda. She didn't make this agenda, but I will get her on next month's agenda for discussion. I didn't miss anything in what we've got in the queue, right?
well, none of those are on the agenda.
No, they're,
Status and updates if possible in future.
I just listed possible future
Okay.
projects, that's all I did.
So you have 15 Gibbs, right?
We're gonna, 15 Gibbs,
2 West,
4 West, I believe.
4,
It's 4 West.
all right, I'll put that in parentheses and a question mark.
Phase 2 at Woodland Cove. The second 56 units, which we have discussed. There's no application from them, and they haven't been back. And 20.
Can I ask you where 4 West is?
It's in West Wareham.
West Wareham. It's a small project, a redevelopment project. I thought the select board actually got invited to a meeting last night where they had a community presentation last night. I will forward you some background on that.
Okay, thank you.
We've done nothing other than they came before us. They're meeting with Ken in terms of Office of Community Development or whatever that title is, and but I think they're looking to rehab a small piece of property and build 4 or 8 affordable units.
They're doing it as a lip?
Lip, I believe.
Right, so that would go in front of the select board, right?
Yes, I think they haven't gotten it.
And
yet.
also the ZBA, and part of my sometimes comments with you is that I think there's a process, and I don't wanna, as I guess you've stated and myself, we support the concept, but it's not in our venue to approve projects or, the zoning, you know, as far as the zoning board of appeals and their responsibility and
No.
all.
I believe the applicant and in many cases, even Mr. Bo, are looking for advocates and eventually perhaps a grant. So at this stage, I think they're keeping us informed of their activity and would be looking for champions or advocates.
And that's where the public meeting would take place, is in front of the ZBA. And I'm not sure if when the select board has their meeting, if it's a hearing or just a discussion with the board.
I've never heard of this one, to be honest with you. I've heard of the other ones, but I haven't heard of this one.
I will forward you what little background we have, and
Yeah.
I will have them, invite them to the next trust meeting and to give us an update. They did come before us once before, perhaps a year ago, and so we'll get you in the loop one way or the other.
Is this the old school building?
No,
No,
this is,
It's where they closed the railroad, the bridge going over the railroad crossing for
Yeah,
about 2 years. West Street's just right there. So it's West
Okay.
Wareham where the old railroad bridge was rebuilt.
okay, great, thank you.
and I'll send you what little paperwork I have.
Yep, thanks.
But again, to Mr. Lunis's point, we're not an approving authority, other than a grant.
excuse me,
They would be looking for advocates at this point and positioning themselves for a possible future grant.
Correct.
Okay. Acknowledging that Mr. Boschman's here, one of the items that is moving down the path, we have written a letter of support for the concept. my word concept at 15 Gibbs. And
And one.
and we've also written one for 20, but yes, no, nothing more than that has occurred so far.
Correct.
But if you'd like to give us an
So,
update.
my ongoing conversations with Lynn, Mrs. Sweet, she's the team leader, I think you've met her, Mrs. Whiteside. She said to me, sit tight until we close on Chapel Lane, and then we'll start the process on 20 Depot and 15 Gibbs Ave.
Okay,
Okay. There is one statement that I made when we brought the 15 Gibbs Ave project to the table here. I made a statement saying that all 24 units would be affordable units. I was incorrect on that statement. All 24 will count on the SHI report, but 1 in 4, so that would be a total of 6 would be affordable.
25%, that's a minimal
25%,
amount.
yes, sir.
That's a minimal, right?
Correct. Yep. And that'll help with the market rate ones, help with the project as we move forward, so we know where we can count for the funds to support the project. But I just wanna make sure I clear that up with you folks, because I was going back over my notes. In fact, probably 2 months ago, wasn't it, Carl? When we
yes,
didn't have a
yes,
meeting,
right.
I brought that up to you and said I need to correct that statement before I get in front of the selectmen, so we're all on the same page here.
Right, yeah.
Um,
And then, just, again, as we discussed, Derek was somewhat surprised about Turning Point's involvement. So I think as you talk to folks, it's a collaboration, I believe, is the way is that the correct way to think of it?
Collaboration as a partnership between Turner Point?
I use the word collaboration, not the word partnership, so, because you got the award from DHCD, or the
Right, that was on the
145,000.
Chapel Lane project.
Right.
We're talking,
Gibbs, but I mean, you have an ongoing relationship.
correct, 15 Gibbs. Thoughts out loud are to utilize the existing building. There's 2 floors on the existing school. We wanna put Turner Point on the first floor, then we'll use the basement down below for all their goods that they're handing out to the folks that are in need. And on the 3rd floor, where it's up in the attic area now, we'd like to convert that into three apartments, is our thoughts. That's what Anthony's doing now, is she's drawing the project up. So there's 2 phases. I don't know if you got a copy of it, Mrs. Whiteside. I think that I gave a copy to you folks.
Yeah.
If you could forward that, if you could take a picture of it and send it to Mrs. Whiteside, that would be great.
If I still have it, I'll.
If not, I have it and I'll get it to you. So our thoughts out loud are, if you're looking at the school from the cannons from Gibbs Ave, to the left-hand side of the school, to put 9 units there, right alongside the school, all with garages underneath. And on the back side of the parking lot, put another 12 units there with garages underneath. The plans that we have laid out right now, and they're ballpark plans, there's like 110 feet between the back of the building to the end of the property line, where you come up off the back side there. What's the name of the road out back? If you go to the.
Stony Run?
Yes, thank you.
Stony, yes.
Yeah, to that back property there, there's like 110 feet on the sketch that we have shown right now, and it's just a sketch.
Were you thinking of an exit under Stony Run?
Not at all.
You don't,
Oh,
no,
no,
you don't
no,
have
no,
access
no,
to
just-
Oh,
Stony.
no, I
buildings.
misunderstood his.
Yeah, there's 2 buildings, because the parking lot's here, so the second building would be on the back side of the parking lot, abutting the Stony Run neighbors, you follow me?
Abutting the neighbors, not abutting Stony Run.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, no exits, only on the property itself.
Okay,
Um,
great.
And that's pretty much where we're at. Sandy, I did make a statement, I wanted to correct the statement that I made while you were out, sorry. When I first initiated the project on 15 Gibbs, I said to the board that the 24 units were all gonna be affordable. I was wrong in that statement. They'll all count on the SHI report, but 1 in 4, so a total of 6 would be affordable units.
So 25%.
Correct,
Mhm.
yes ma'am. Yeah,
So there's no application or anything yet, right?
Nothing, Jim.
So this is just all in
I just,
flux and
I made a
ether,
statement
right?
on the board and I knew it, I said
Right,
it,
I
and I
just-
was wrong. When I was going home, I said, I gotta correct that
So-
before I get
Because I
in front of
thought the
these
whole thing was
folks.
affordable, but thank you.
Exactly, but it'll
Well, yeah.
go as affordable
Yes,
because of
it's-
rentals.
Yes,
But I wanted to make sure we're all on the same page. I don't want, before we get in front of the select board, asking them for a letter of support for the LIP application.
I just have one question, is it okay if I ask it, Mr.
Sure,
Chairman?
sure, this is, we're kind of, once we get into discussion, we're sort of informal.
Okay, what about swinging the fire engine ladder behind that? Have you taken that into account?
Yeah, I think the road's 25 feet wide, she has, drawn up on the plans. We've got a site plan, and of course, we have to go in front of the fire, you know what I mean?
In
But I
ZBA.
think the second, egress is gonna go onto, if you're looking at the project from the street again, to the far left, it'd be like a horseshoe all the way around. I don't know if I have, do you have the site plan?
I just looked at my notes and I didn't see pictures of a plan. I just saw it.
Rough sketch?
Yeah, I gave him a rough sketch, and I thought that Anthony had that in there. But I know we have to go in front of the fire, they have to, give us their authorization, and of course, we'll comply with whoever needs what, that's.
Yeah, it goes in front of zoning, and part of that is
This is all I have.
approval, right, for the turning radius and everything else?
No, I'll get you another one.
Yeah, any updates you want to send, just.
Yeah, it's still in the planning stage, so.
Yeah, we're still
So
sketching.
we don't
Yeah.
know anything, it's just all in flux.
Right,
So that's what I've kind of put down, still
Okay,
planning pending.
and Mr. Boschman has been great about keeping us abreast.
Yeah. Plan,
You okay?
okay.
No, I just got some very bad news.
Oh, dear.
Oh, sorry.
Can we do anything for you?
No,
Do you need to take a break?
no, I knew it was coming. We just lost a friend of over 50 years.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, do you need to?
No, I
Also,
knew it was coming. I was waiting for that phone call.
Okay, great,
Just,
we'll wrap up here pretty quick.
Gibbs.
I just want to, can you go back to the future, can we include Crossroads Apartments, 242 Sandwich?
Which one is Crossroads Apartments?
You sent us a memo.
Oh, Mannix? That's a Mannix project.
We got something from Peter, he sent to you, you sent
Oh,
it to
yes,
us.
I
and
forgot about that.
I
That-
wanted to make sure we include Crossroads
Apartments.
in our, future.
That's the one that's gonna be the 60 unit, used to be a nursing home.
Yeah, the one on the corner of, 28 and
We-
6.
Right, we,
We
It was
did, we
just-
did, we
I
did
have
write a
it,
letter.
I have a folder on it, I just wanted to make sure we included as to what might be happening with that
Yes, we did.
242 Sandwich
they
Road.
came here and
We wrote a letter.
they're gonna do a major they
Right.
have to do a major modification, go back in front of the ZBA.
Right,
Yeah.
Don't know the numbers or anything else there.
Yep,
but as a future possible grant,
Right,
list.
or just support of affordable housing,
Yes,
but not to the size or the dimensions
No,
or
just
how
that-
it's built, just,
right. Yes, that's not our role.
that's right.
All we are is advocates for
yeah,
affordable
Carl
housing.
sent the approval letter on February 13, 24.
You're right, when I was summarizing future projects.
Yeah.
And in our annual report, I will include those.
That they've been before us,
Yeah, that they've been before us.
and we sent a letter of support.
Yes.
Isn't there another one up in West Wareham, just before the courthouse on the right-hand side, Cranberry
Manor.
Apartments?
Yeah,
Yeah,
out
but they
back,
haven't come before us.
Okay,
they've gone in front of, either planning or zoning though.
Yeah,
Not-
they,
For
not
approval.
plan- Not planning.
For zoning for
and
approval,
conservation to put on a new,
whole new section in the
section
back, right?
behind,
Yeah,
yeah, but they haven't come before us.
they haven't, us here, not
Yeah.
us,
No, yeah,
conservation.
we haven't.
We wouldn't, yeah, so,
All right, so Crossroads, and, that one is Cranberry Manor.
we're not talking Cranberry Manor. Are you?
no, I just asked
No,
the
no,
question.
She
has
so
a
that was
question.
in-
I
That's,
wasn't sure why are you including that in the minutes?
I
No,
just
because
jotted it down, and as I
Yeah,
draft the minutes, I'll decide whether to do something or not
but
on that.
they've not come to us at all,
No,
yeah. The
we were
others
just
have.
noting projects.
Yeah.
All right, where are you at now, Kyle?
Okay, we're wrapping up on
Did you,
pending grants.
15 years, when do you think you might come for a CPA grant?
So Lynn said to me, and while you're out, I mentioned this to the folks, we're gonna wrap up Chapel Lane before we move to the next phase
So,
of 20 in Gibbs Ave.
Okay.
We're gonna present 20 in Gibbs Ave at the same time, so I can bring her down from Boston once for
okay,
each phase. But it'll
But you're not-
probably be the fall, you know what I mean?
not this fall,
The fall,
Okay,
exactly,
okay.
we got a ways to go.
so it's in the pipeline?
It's in the pipeline.
Okay,
I think 20 people will probably move forward before Gibbs Ave,
all
but
right,
yeah, it'll be, we're out a little ways. It takes a while, even with the state on their side for the lip applications.
Okay. So Judith, those are the things kind of in our forward-looking, we try to look ahead, so those are things that are in the pipeline.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right, again, item 5.3, SHI status, while the trust has no formal role in SHI, we are advocates for the count. We've identified several gaps in the count. Have you gotten any further information, Jim, or?
well, just basically what I said last time is that we missed the opening for early application when they issued the building permits. And so now you have to wait until the occupancy permits are issued before the town can apply to have them added to the SHI.
And you're talking about Woodland Cove?
I am talking about Woodland Cove
Yes.
area.
Yes.
That's the status of that, it's 156 units.
Yeah, it
So-
appears, Judith, that Woodland Cove is not in our SHI count at the moment.
and it's up to the town to make that application to whatever the new letters are for
Right.
SHI.
If you don't do it within a certain time frame to start, once a building permits are issued,
Mhm.
you have to wait until the occupancy permits are issued. Because if you get it under the building permits, the SHI status, it's only temporary, and if they don't complete them within a period of time, they would come off the list.
Okay,
So, once you get the occupancy permits, the town should be able to do the application for
So-
approval of the units, and I think that Woodland Cove is going for both phases.
yes, okay, so when you say the town, you mean,
The town,
It's the,
I mean, is it the building inspector, is it?
in the
Well-
past, it was the director of planning.
Okay, so it was Buckland,
Yes.
yeah,
or that position, so
they have
it's the
to-
director of planning must make the application.
In the past, that's how it happened.
it could be the select board, planning. I guess a building commission, building department provides the approval, authorized occupancy permits. Yeah, so it would be planning and development somewhere in that office.
In the past, it fell under Ken's department.
Hmm.
Anyway, well, we continue to advocate for that and remind folks.
Yeah, plus, even if we didn't hit the 10%, we'd be within, even right now, we might be with Littleton Drive. We could apply for safe haven. Safe harbor.
Yeah.
And that would be important also, so that we don't have to accept 40B developments that aren't palatable to what we'd be looking for here in the town.
I thought the state could, we don't have that safe haven.
Well, no,
If
but
the
I'm saying,
If the areas around us aren't at 10%.
no, I don't see it that way, it's per town. And I've looked it up a few times, I think we disagree on that, the interpretation that, otherwise, I mean, I guess you could be buried because other towns haven't met their 10%.
Yep.
But, again, safe harbor would be important, even with Littleton, if we've reached that small cove on there.
And that's for 2 years.
Yeah, 1 or 2, depending whether you've hit 5% or 10% of blah, blah, blah.
So it could very well be as little as 1 year.
Yeah, if you don't get this much, yeah. But if they get both of them, I don't even know if we'll be at a 10% then, would we?
Well, let me look. What we have, what's the latest SHI list?
We're at 7.6, weren't
This is at,
Something like that.
Is that the November report?
this is January 24, well,
Yeah,
that's the date of it. And we're at, our target is 2020 census gives us 10,806,
right.
and we're now at 804.
Then we had the
That includes
156.
the 93 for Littleton Drive, and we've include the 156, that gives us 960.
Then we're creeping there slowly, but
So
that would give
960
us safe.
is still not 10%.
No, but it'd give us a safe harbor.
No, it won't give us.
Yes, because we've made progress towards that. That's how you get the safe harbor. You've
we?
made
So what
progress
exactly
towards
does
that
the
goal.
safe harbor do for developers? What does that do?
Nothing for developers, it does it for the town, so that if you come in with a project and you wanna cram in 100 units in what the town feels is too small of an area, we could push back.
Okay.
But if we don't have safe harbor, 40B development can do.
With whatever size project
We have
possible.
much more
Within the
limited.
guidelines of the state.
Yes.
Do you consider your projects 40B? You do, don't you?
Friendly 40B, sure.
Yes,
The lit
but-
programs,
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I mean, would that shut me off if I said, I wanna do another small development in West Wareham, I wanna add
No.
3 houses?
What it would shut you off from is forcing it down our throat,
Okay.
as opposed to a friendly,
Yeah, which we present,
right,
okay. So as long as it's friendly and everyone's on the same page.
it
the town
doesn't
would
say you
support-
don't do any, it just says it's not approved by fiat.
so that's where we
So
lie.
I'm not wasting my money moving forward on these. Okay, that's my
Different-
question.
We want affordable housing,
Mhm.
we want good affordable housing. What we don't want is
Conglomerates.
bad projects, and that's an ill-defined term, but it's in the eye of the beholder, but,
Okay, that's fine.
We had a lot of, a tremendous amount of HOR program units removed from our list, and that cut us down significantly. We lost 35 units because of that.
More this year, right?
Well, there's,
Yeah,
they were off, I don't think we have any. We have several of them, of which 3 expires in 2023. But not like the 35 we lost last year.
and for your information, those were the rehabilitation projects that were funded through CBGE.
Yep.
CBGG, and they had, I believe, a 15-year deed restriction on them. And I don't know if they still require the deed restriction, but you know how the program runs. I just figured I'd let you know that's where those came from.
Well, what bothered us, and we talked about it a long time, the town stopped submitting paperwork.
And I,
So everything they've gone downstairs to give them loans to help with their houses are no longer on our SHI list because the state refused to accept it. So anything that's out there now under that program, we don't know about because it's not in our account.
I contacted the state, and they still have an application for that, for rehabilitation.
But we just not,
I don't know.
town's not submitting the paperwork because they said, why bother, they're not accepting. So that was maybe 3 years ago, we bumped into this. Or was it before you became chair?
it was before my time.
No, I'm looking at Carl.
Jim.
I'm Jim, sorry. You're both fuzzy
No,
here.
no, right, but, they said they weren't, and I contacted the state since my reappointment, and there's forms to fill out for that.
The town won't follow
I don't know,
up.
I don't know.
Again, we're not operational, we're advocates, so we're just continuing to try and.
Yeah,
Well, you caught me with 35 came off the SHI. So the funding that goes through the office downstairs from you, right? The one under
CDBG.
Derek?
Yes,
Yeah. So Jim, you're saying that there's paperwork that should have been filed?
Well, there's still a form for rehabilitation programs through
Okay.
the state. And part of what used to happen is you put a 15-year deed restriction on it. And then each year, 1/15 of the grant would
Right.
go away, unless you sold it, then you'd pay the difference, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So I go online, I look up stuff, and I did a little communication, and there's still forms for the rehabilitation projects to be submitted for SHI.
Yeah.
I don't know the specific details, because it gets very deep, and I just was not willing to delve and go into places where I don't really have the authorization. Oftentimes I'll inquire, and all the agencies are very good about getting back, and so that's where that lies. It would be good to, I know each year the select board gives a fairly large sum towards a rehabilitation program,
Right.
which is good one way or the other, but it would be great if we could get the deed restrictions, the temporary deed restrictions, 15 years, to help us on the SHI count. Maybe you can lever some
Yeah.
things that I can't.
Well, Jim, I think that you and I need to sit down, because I need to understand better why that's not happening. Because I always thought that it was happening.
I think the discussion is with Mr. Buckland.
We-
We've asked him
We'll,
why for years and stopped asking.
we'll,
No, because he doesn't administer the CDBG grant.
He has to submit the paperwork to the town, to the state.
all right, so we need more information.
This was, we've had this
Yeah.
discussion 4 to 5 years ago, so it's been out there. Why are we not getting new counts? So, alright, oh, by the way, I just did the math. If Woodland Cove gets 156 units, we're at 11.25%.
That's right.
Good stuff.
what, added to what? The 804?
If we have the 804, add the 156, we get 960.
Right,
That's 11.25 of our 2020 census.
we don't need, all we need is 904? All right,
No,
that's all right, good.
It's good news. The point is I don't think we are sufficiently advocating for the SHI counts.
no,
Or I think we're advocating, I don't know that it's being operationalized.
okay.
Anything
Okay.
else on SHI? So, a possible action is Judith and Jim to just sit down and have an information exchange.
And I will try to forward you any of that information that I believe are in my records here.
Anything you
That,
said,
that,
just-
that would be very helpful, Jim, because
I
having it not count is nuts.
I'm with you, thank you.
thank you for that. Anything on this topic? All right, moving on, last section, any comments, updates, or discussion?
Hearing none,
Then I'd just like to welcome Ms. Whiteside back,
and thank you.
and thank you for extending yourself. I know that you're already very busy. And I thank Mr. Boschman for his, Steve is here every month. He is a great member of
I'm just trying to
the
learn.
community.
Yes.
So,
All
When's the
right.
next meeting, guys?
second Tuesday in July, which is actually on my agenda.
Good day.
9th,
July 9th.
24.
I make a motion, we adjourn at 10:05.
Second.
Hearing a motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, guys,
Aye.
good to see everybody.
Chair votes aye,
Thank
and Judith?
Thank you so much.
Good to
Thank
see
you,
folks.
thank you
Thank you,
very
Ray.
much, Julie.
You guys enjoy the week.